Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rutech. Today, we'll be talking about the top 3 best $800 gaming laptops that are currently available in January of 2022. If I'm being honest, if you have a budget anywhere below $800, you're probably not going to get the best gaming experience. You aren't even going to be able to take advantage of 30 series laptop GPUs, which are not only the fastest available in this price range, but also have DLSS hardware, allowing for an amazing performance boost for compatible games. It's also worth mentioning that all 3 of these laptops are pretty new. I mean, with these, you're really getting the most up-to-date stuff, which means also the fastest. So before I go over these 3 laptops, I want to tell you about Lustre. So in this video, I'm giving my own recommendation for laptops at a specific price, but perhaps you have a different smaller or bigger budget, or you're looking for something with different specific features and want a more personalized recommendation from a highly trustworthy source. Well, there's this new and upcoming free shopping tool called Lustre. It's a free Chrome extension that gives you exactly that. Not only does it find and analyze trusted expert reviews, but it also brings up discussion forums mentioning products like on Reddit or video reviews on YouTube. This makes it quick and easy to get a second opinion as you're shopping right on Amazon. Not only that, but it even provides personalized product recommendations for your exact budget with price comparisons across different retailers like Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, etc., so that you can always get the lowest price. It will also display price history and sales so that you can save even more money. The whole point is you're going to be saving a lot of time and money using Lustre. Link for the free Chrome extension is in my description. Bear in mind that these 3 laptops are in no particular order, however, I will mention my favorite of the 3 at the end of the video. So in the number 1 slot, I chose the HP Victus 16 gaming laptop. This guy is pretty new, actually came out back in May of last year, meaning it has the latest and greatest hardware. Let's take a look at what exactly that hardware is. For the CPU, we're looking at an AMD Ryzen 5 5600H, which is a 6-core, 12-thread CPU with a base clock of 3.3 GHz and boost clock of 4.2. This is a really tough mobile processor. Definitely can handle some demanding stuff, which means 1080p and 1440p gaming is not a problem at all with the graphics card this is paired with. It also, of course, has hyper-threading. As for the RAM, it only has 8 GB. Now, you know how I feel about 8 GB of RAM if you've seen my videos before. It isn't really enough for modern gaming, but there is good news. This laptop does fortunately support upgrading the RAM. So when you finally get sick of having only 8 GB of memory, you can go ahead and upgrade it pretty easily. Moving on for storage, there is a lovely 512 GB of NVMe SSD storage. Fortunately, in this price range, you really aren't going to find any laptops with hard drives, so fast storage is a given. As for the amount, 512 GB, it should certainly be more than enough for your typical game library, along with other files such as software and media, etc. Now, how about the chip that does gaming, the GPU? This laptop has a wonderful NVIDIA RTX 3050. Now, what does that mean to you? It means that you can pretty much play any modern game you'd like. Seriously, the 3050 is a really versatile 1080p and, in a good handful of cases, 1440p card. Fortnite, Valorant, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Warzone, Halo, you name it, this card can run it consistently at above 60 frames per second at 1080p and 1440p if you go ahead and lower a few of the settings. And it'll especially run good if the games have DLSS available, which most newer games do. And bear in mind, this 3050 will be matched up with the Ryzen 5 5600H. So a real match of absolute gaming capability. How about things beyond processing, like the screen, chassis, and ports? Well, this laptop has a beautiful 16.1-inch screen, pretty interesting size. Usually you find laptops to be 15.6 inches. I've never seen 16.1, but hey, that extra half-inch is definitely awesome. The screen resolution is 1920 by 1080, so 1080p, and the panel type is IPS, so you're getting nice, vibrant colors. And the refresh rate, 60 Hz, pretty standard. As for the entire build itself, it's a really nice looking laptop. It's not one of those that kind of scream at you saying, hey, I'm a super cool looking gaming laptop that can light up and stuff. No, this laptop is more of a minimalistic look and doesn't really go for something that flaunts, which I personally am a fan of. You're also getting a pretty nice backlit keyboard with a full layout. Lastly, ports. We're looking at 3 USB 3.0s, 1 USB-C, 1 HDMI out, an Ethernet port, and an SD card reader. definitely a nice abundance of connectivity. Now let's move on to the number 2 laptop, being the Lenovo Ideapad Gaming 3. This laptop is not nearly as new as the HP Victus 16, the number 1 laptop, but that shouldn't matter too much as the components come from the same generations. As a matter of fact, this laptop has extremely similar specs to the previous laptop with a few exceptions. The CPU in this laptop is the same exact one as the number 1 laptop, which is the Ryzen 5600H, meaning 6 cores, 12 threads, a base clock of 3.3 GHz, and a boost clock of 4.2 with hyperthreading. For the RAM, also just like the last laptop, there's only 8 GB of DDR4. And as I said earlier, 8 GB, not the amount you want to have for gaming in 2022. It'll work, it'll not really give you big issues, but if you want the best performance and less lag spikes, you'll want to have 12 to 16. However, you can upgrade the RAM pretty easily with this Lenovo laptop. And the final identical thing from the last laptop is the storage. This guy has 512 GB of NVMe storage, so super fast and a great amount of space. Now, how about some of the key differences? Let's start with the biggest one, shall we? The graphics card. This laptop has the NVIDIA RTX 3050 Ti. Now, that's a chip that is significantly faster than the 3050 non-Ti edition. We're looking at roughly 15 to 20% performance boost in most games if you choose the Ti versus the non-Ti, which is quite the difference. The 3050 Ti is basically a 1440p card, with a few exceptions of very high demanding games such as the brand new, poorly optimized Battlefield 2042 and Halo Infinite. But in other games, Fortnite, Rainbow Six, Valorant, you're getting amazing performance running at 2K at around medium to high settings. The display, also really nice. This laptop has a 15.6-inch IPS display with a 120Hz refresh rate. A high refresh rate is a really nice thing to have and almost essential for competitive gaming, and that's something that the previous laptop that we talked about does not have. Now, let's look at the build. It has a full-size backlit membrane keyboard. The chassis itself is all right looking. I honestly am not a big fan of it. I feel as though it's a pretty outdated look. I can't put my finger on it. It's just not the most appealing laptop, but hey, if you're seeking performance, that shouldn't matter too much, no matter how ugly or good looking you may think this laptop is. It is a total powerhouse. And lastly, let's take a look at the ports. It has 2 USB 3.2s, 1 Ethernet, and 1 USB-C. I wouldn't say in its abundance, but I'm sure that's more than enough for most situations. Last but not least, the Acer Nitro 5 AN515 5553E5. It launched early last year. This one is a little bit less powerful than the last 2 laptops. However, it is the cheapest of the 3. Let's take a look at what that entails. For the CPU, this number 3 laptop has the Intel i5-10300H. That means 4 cores, 8 threads, a base clock of 2.5 GHz, and boost of 4.5. The processor is slightly less powerful than the processor found in the last 2 laptops, being the Ryzen 5600H. Although it's not a huge difference, it's still something that shouldn't be ignored. As for the RAM, we're looking at 8 GB, which seems to be the standard amount you'll find in this price range. And yes, this laptop does allow for upgrades to the RAM. Next, let's talk storage. This cheaper option has only 256 GB of NVMe storage. Now, when put next to 512 GB, that's not a lot, especially if you're going to be playing some of those newer demanding games that can also be pretty large, like Warzone. Regardless though, 256 GB shouldn't be too big of an issue as long as you don't have a really big game library and don't plan on storing a lot of media or software on this PC. Also, there are 2 M2 slots, so you can add a bunch of SSD storage whenever you'd like. Now let's talk about the GPU. This Acer has the NVIDIA RTX 3050. As I've said before, the 3050 is a total 1080p and 1440p beast that can handle literally every game, old and new, that you throw at it, especially if you have DLSS enabled. Alright, that's enough talk about the performance and whatnot. How about the exterior stuff? The screen is a good place to start. This laptop has the highest refresh rate display of the 3 laptops in this video, being 144 Hz. The resolution is 1080p and the panel type is IPS. As for the laptop's design as a whole, I am really not a fan. It's just an outdated look. Not only does this laptop rock the classic gaming red and black look, but it also has that supercar sharp edge design that I really never liked to begin with. I really think this design makes the laptop, ironically, look really cheap. In fairness, this laptop has some really good cooling and airflow thanks to its design. And last but not least, ports. 3 USB 3.0s, 1 Ethernet, and 1 HDMI out. So pretty much the same exact set of ports as the number 2 laptop. Alright, so those are the 3. They're all pretty great. They all are total beasts at gaming. We established that, but which of these three is the best bang for your buck? Well, the winning laptop of these three is no doubt the Lenovo Ideapad Gaming 3 laptop. Let me give you a few key reasons. For starters, it has the strongest CPU and GPU combination. Not only does it have the pretty new, pretty powerful 6-core Ryzen 5 5600H, but it works in tandem with the RTX 3050 Ti. As I said earlier, the 3050 Ti is much more powerful and capable when put up against the 3050, which is found in the #1 and #3 laptop. And surprisingly, you're not giving anything up for that. I mean, you still also have 512 gigabytes of super fast storage, a nice high refresh rate 1080p IPS screen, and the laptop itself is relatively new. And given the chip crisis and all the wacky prices you can find out there nowadays, this is a really good deal. But let me also say this, all three laptops are phenomenal. 1080p and 1440p gaming can be run with all three of these laptops. They're the best for the $800 price point. And that will wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Have any comments or questions, drop a comment below. And if you enjoy the content that you're seeing, drop a sub. Thanks for watching. Peace out.